All right, I am looking the wrong way. Oh, here we are. I think we're going live. All right. Yay. I think it's coming together. There is a delay. I see that. So I will try not to look at myself because all I'm going to see is the delay. Let's see if I get centered here. Okay. I'm trying to look at the proper screen. So I'm looking right at you. Let's see. I'm going to turn myself up a little bit. That is as loud as this might get. So I'm going to try to get a little closer. Knocked a pen down. I scooted up and this pen just came tumbling down. So that was kind of funny. All right, please let me know. Can you hear me and can you see me? We should start off with that. I kind of didn't start off with that last time. So, oh, look who I've got people in the house. Yay. I want to say hi to everybody as we get started here. Up from the top, I see Crystal, the animal lover. Hey, hi. I see my mom, Sharon Hale. Hi. Let's see. Then, oh, Vicky's here. Hey, Vicky. Loki, the Siberian. Yay. Hey, did you watch Six Pants? Okay, so now the geek conversation is happening in my chat. Awesome. Hey, Joel, thanks for coming over. I know you've got to be tired. Joel just live streamed at 2 o'clock. Check out his channel. It is Joel the Geek, and he goes over geek culture items, plays Mad Libs, and does some unboxings. So you want to make sure you go over to his live stream at 2 o'clock on Sundays. Sound is better. Oh, good. I dropped a pen too. I mean, I totally. Last week it was low. Yeah, I just wasn't close enough to the mic. So I'm closer this time. I have this good mic. I really do have a good mic, but I have not figured out how to get it connected to OBS. It's called a Meteor, I believe. It goes like this. There we go. So you can see it. Yeah, but I have to actually figure out how to make it work. So that hasn't happened yet. There are a lot of buttons. You have no idea how many buttons there are in doing this. I'm using OBS and I'm using YouTube Studio, and woo, it is a little craziness with the buttons. Let's see. Audio's okay, loud and clear. Yay. You saw that I got music. Mom. Oh, yes, Becky's here. Hey, Becky. Hi. And so no date, totally no date. Hey, how are you guys doing with the delay? I got it as tight as I could, which meant my resolution had to come down. I've got a warning, my resolution's too low. So if I'm a little bit fuzzy, that's because I wanted to get the delay a little shorter for you guys today. Loki the Siberian, thank you for the super chat from Canada. I really appreciate you, Steve. That is very, very sweet. And I like the, yes, rock and roll, rock and roll. Good morning, Cleveland. All right. Oh, Uncle Yukon. I forgot to say hi. You were here first, I think, from Maple Valley, right? So thank you for being here. A Michael would be great. Yes, a Michael would be awesome, even if you don't have a mic. All right, so we're going to get started today. I do want to give a shout out to Dan, who mentioned me. Actually, he had the Die Power Hour during his live stream on Friday. Check out Dan's live stream. He plays a trivia game show called Dantix every Friday night right now at 5 o'clock, and you can go and test your knowledge. I called in this time. I was 2 for 2. I got 2 of the questions right and 2 wrong. So I think that's just the way it goes playing Dantix. I mean, I know some of you are awesome, but I am not. But when the quarantine's over, my mom and I are going to rock that because she is an encyclopedia of useless knowledge, and we're going to kill it. But, oh, Crystal, you're being generous. I did not kill it, and I may have pronounced Lady Marmalade wrong. It's Marmalade something. It was the best I could do. The sound was really bad this week, so I couldn't really hear Dan or what him and Crystal were saying, so it was a little trickier. But you know, it's difficult being live, and being live on someone else's show is way more difficult because here I pretend I have some control, right? No. Oh, but thanks again, Steve, for the super chat. Loki the Siberian, that it was awesome. All right, so we're gonna get into the movie Ray. Okay, so guys, I told the truth on Dantix. I'll tell you the truth today. I had not seen Ray until yesterday. I watched it for the first time. So You know, it happens. I picked a movie because with world events and having it be so close to Juneteenth, I just thought it was perfect to do a movie about an African American artist. And I picked Ray because I owned it. And so I thought that would be great to watch. And it turned out to have so many tie ins. I just can't wait to talk about this movie. If you haven't seen it yet, maybe this will get you wanting to see it. When it's a biopic, there aren't really spoilers because you know how the person's life turned out. So it's not like I'm going to ruin it for you. Oh, Steve, you are awesome. You guys are so much more generous than me because when it's my friends, I'm like, oh, they don't need my money. They're my friends. I can just text them. I'm terrible. Oh, and Steve, we know what we need to do? We need to get on our phones and do a house party again. I really enjoyed it. We did it once. I want to do another house party. Ray seems like a good movie. I heard of it. Yeah. He won a bunch of awards. A ton of awards. Oh no, the box is in the other room. I have the Wikipedia up here somewhere. But he won all kinds of awards. Oh yeah, here it is. So the person who starred in the movie Ray was Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx was cast in the role, and then the director who cast him found out that Jamie Foxx is actually a piano major in college, and so made shooting it a lot easier because Jamie could actually play the piano. He could actually sing. So some of it's him singing, some of it's Ray Charles, some of it's him playing piano, some of it's Ray Charles. So that was kind of cool that he found after the... Yes, Ray was blind. And I had seen clips of the movie. I just hadn't seen the whole thing. Oh, goodness gracious, I didn't bring a water. I'm going to regret that. Anyway, so Ray is about the life of Ray Charles. He passed away in 2000. What was his name? Michael, bad spelling. Let's go with Judy. I can spell that. So in 2004, the actual Ray Charles, who was Ray Charles Robinson, was his given name, he passed away. And so the movie came out right after he had passed away, which is very similar to the last biopic we reviewed, Walk the Line, where Johnny Cash had passed away while the movie was in production. And the same thing happened with Ray Charles. I did not know until I watched it that I know so many Ray Charles songs. Like, either songs that he wrote or he covered, I knew them all. They were all very, very familiar. And so that was really cool. Oh, I have notes. You know I have my notebook. I have to have my handy dandy notebook. I think this looks kind of, it says thoughts and notes. And it's getting thicker as we do these live streams, which is kind of fun. So, oh, the movie starts out in Florida. He starts out in Florida. One of my favorite YouTubers, Charles Trippy, is from Florida. So I kind of know a little bit more about Florida. And, oh, yes. Thank you, Uncle Yukon. James Charles Robinson, September 23, 1930 to June 10th, 2004. It took them 15 years to get this movie made. There's some obstacles sometimes when you're trying to sell a script, but they said I heard some of the notes from the director, and he said that he was glad it took 15 years because he needed Jamie Foxx to be the right age to star in the movie. And Jamie Foxx and Ray Charles met before the movie started filming, and so they were able to make sure, I don't know, he got Ray Charles' blessing to play the part. So that was the cool thing. So the movie starts out in Florida, and then one of the first scenes is Ray Charles getting on a bus and heading to, wait for it, where is he headed to? Nashville? No. Los Angeles? No. Where's he gonna go? Seattle, of course. Because every movie, we have to have a Seattle tie-in. So Ray Charles goes to Seattle as a young musician. I know Memphis, the dog, the city, it would all make sense, but no, he doesn't. He goes to Seattle. And who is one of the first people he meets in Seattle? Quincy Jones. Did you see how this is all running together? This is totally from last week's live stream, isn't it? So he meets Quincy Jones in Seattle, and Quincy Jones was a trumpet player. Yes, of course, Uncle Yukon, it is Seattle. So they faked New Orleans. Well, actually, almost all the cities were faked in the movie. It was actually shot in New Orleans. And I know, Joel, Seattle, of course. Quincy Jones, of course. So They faked New Orleans for Seattle. I knew immediately it wasn't Seattle by one telltale thing. See if you guys know. What made me know when they showed, oh, they were in Seattle and they showed some stock footage of Seattle, but I knew it wasn't really Seattle. How did I know it was not Seattle? What could I tell just looking at the buildings that it wasn't Seattle? Mom, are you still there? I'm sure you'll be able to get this right. So there was a telltale thing in the movie I could tell. It was not Seattle. People were dressed weird. Nope, they were dressed for the time. It was completely appropriate outfits. Yeah, I would really like to see what else you guys could see. The Space Needle. It predated the Space Needle. And so the stock footage they had actually did not have the Space Needle, which was appropriate for the time. There is something you will notice if you ever walk through Seattle. People huff and puff when they walk through Seattle. Oh, Uncle Yukon, too many beaded necklaces? No. The dead giveaway that it was not Seattle was the fact that it was completely level. It was flat. All the buildings were on a flat street. There were no hills. Thank you, Uncle Yukon. There were no hills. And I really don't care what neighborhood you're in Seattle. Every neighborhood has hills. Everything is a slight incline. Everything is a walking challenge. Smog. Seattle does not have smog, which is kind of nice. I always go into shock when I travel. You know, Salt Lake City is sort of a bowl, and it traps all of the smog inside. When I was there, it had trapped some forest fires, and it was pretty bad. So, yeah, a lot of other cities deal with smog. LA obviously has smog when you're in LA. But Seattle, no, not so much smog. But yes, it is rough for riding a bike, Becky. That is true. Seattle has those bikes that you can rent, and people get frustrated and just toss them into the Puget Sound in the water. That's not what you should do. Anyway, it's really bad for winter driving. Winter driving here is a nightmare because you think you're fine. I even pulled into a parking spot, parked my car, set the brake, and my whole car just continued to slide off of the ice because you're on a hill. It makes all the... My mom says driving a stick shift. Oh my gosh, we have this street called James Street. And when you're driving that street, I don't care if you are in an automatic, the minute you lift your foot off of the gas, or right off the brake to the gas, you are sliding backwards immediately. And then, of course, someone always, pulls up right behind you. So anyway, it was a dead giveaway in the movie that they were not. Vicky hates snow driving. Vicky sees one lone snowflake come down, and she's done. She's home. She actually lives where it's flat. She lives way down in a valley. But the city of Seattle, you're always, always going to be on a hill. And that's why we're terrible snow drivers. Okay, I'm going to move along. So Quincy Jones was a trumpet player. He meets him at the beginning. And in real life, he did befriend Quincy Jones there. He knew another musician. So that's why he went to Seattle. He went there because he had a gig. We have a lot of flashback sequences in this movie, which is not really shocking because that is what you get in music biopics, right? So we have some flashbacks here to when Ray Charles was a kid. And he was raised in a very, very poor part of Florida. And his mom was very, very poor, and she was raising two boys. And unfortunately, there was an accident, and his brother died, which is so weird because that's exactly what happened in Walk the Line. But I believe this movie came out first. So, yeah, so it was really, really sad. It wasn't played out in the movie exactly as it happened in real life, but it was similar enough. And so there are a lot of flashback sequences where Ray Charles is remembering when he lost his brother. So we're going to talk again about trauma. We know that trauma affects people, and childhood trauma really affects people. And so this movie demonstrated how Ray had been affected by his childhood traumas. And so for some reason, biopics always come back to trauma theory and to understanding people and trauma. And so I think it's interesting that we go back to these certain themes that seem to always be common in the biopics. Not everyone, but on a lot of them. So he also, in his adult life, also faced a lot of difficulties. One of them was his blindness. And, we're all learning more and more about ableism, right? We're learning about ableism. And so people did discriminate against him for being blind and treated him differently than they did other people. And he was excluded and sometimes left out. And they included that in the movie, so we understand that part. And of course, just his day-to-day living was more challenging than it was for everybody else. But he was enormously talented. The movie also depicts his drug abuse, going back to Walk the Line, right? So he was addicted to heroin. I hate heroin. I really, really hate heroin. Those of you who know me know that we lost a classmate that I went to high school with who was in the rhythm section with me to heroin. And I have just really, really hated heroin since that time. And so to see his 17-year struggle with heroin was really rough in the movie. And then, of course, he also had a sex addiction. So, yeah, why not have a lot of struggles? So even though he had negotiated himself great contracts, was smart, famous, rich, talented, he still faced those struggles, right? And so that's where we can identify with the movies, right? Because in our real lives, we face struggles. And when we see these biopics about people's lives, we get to see them going through those struggles too. We also got to see his recovery. He recovered from his 17-year addiction to heroin, and that is in the movie. And so that gives us hope, right? That people can recover from their addictions. He did not recover from everything. He, into his old age, was still using marijuana and still gin, I think, was his alcohol of choice. He seemed to continue his sex addiction. He was married twice, once in the movie, twice in real life. And he had 3 children with his second wife, which is depicted in the movie. And in the movie, he had 1 child outside of the marriage while he was married. In real life, Ray Charles was the father of 12 children by 10 women. I'm not even sure what to say about that. I'm looking in the chat. What do you think about having... I'm glad I picked the right Father's Day movie. That's all I can say, is that I had no idea that it was going to be this monumental level of being a father. Yes, Crystal Ann. Wow, that's crazy. Don't you think? I mean, he could afford it. That's one thing. I mean, he was taking care of a lot of women and their children. I don't think anybody was on welfare because of his behavior, but really? How could you possibly be an awesome dad to 12? I can't even say it out loud without laughing. You need a chart. This has turned into the Geek Fort. We do Mad Libs and Joel inevitably ends up laughing so hard he almost cries. And now I'm trying to picture him with his chart. Can you imagine his tree on Ancestry.com? You, as one of his children, would have to be careful who you date, that they don't turn out to be a relative somehow, right? It just seems a little preposterous, but it could happen. But dude, thank you. Yes, Joel. I'm sorry, when I went on Wikipedia and I read that, I was just like, can you say family get together? Oh my goodness. Whew. I don't know, it just caught me as a little struggle, man. That would be the struggle bus trying to do that. Oh my gosh. And I don't imagine they were in the same cities, right? Because he was a traveling musician. He also had the Raylettes, which is his group of backup singers. Some of them became baby mamas. It was just... Okay, so his thing in the movie, okay, his way of deciding if a woman was attractive or not, right? Because in real life, blind people do not touch people's faces to see what they look like. That is like an old movie trope. It's not a real thing. But in real life, the way that he would find out if a woman was attractive is he would reach out to shake her hand, but then he would touch her wrist and her forearm, and he could tell what she looked at like by her wrist and her forearm. Could he tell if they were going to be a good mother? I don't know. But anyway, happy Father's Day. We're talking about some Ray Charles. All right. How does he know he's actually the father? Well, now you can do 23andMe and you can do Ancestry.com and figure out all of these kinds of things. These were the number of children I think he admitted. A lot of them were named Ray and Charles and things like that in their name. The interesting part would be found if there's any ones that he didn't know about and he was not supporting. I mean, really, the possibilities are endless, aren't they? All right, I'm going to get off that topic. Let's go to something more serious. Let's talk about civil rights, right? There's nothing going on in the world that would influence that. Anyway, of course, all roads are going to intersect. We talked about the city of Seattle and touched on some of the things that are going on in Seattle evolving around the rights of Black people and people of color. Ray performed all over the South, and so some of the venues that he played in were venues that only allowed, that were under Jim Crow law. So Black people could attend, but it was a segregated kind of thing. And so, of course, eventually he was contacted. He actually, in the movie, it was face-to-face, but of course it was a telegram, because in real life, you don't always see people face-to-face, by some activists that asked him not to play a gig in Georgia. And he did not play that gig in Georgia because it was segregated. And, he was one of the first artists to stand up for that. And eventually, all of those places were desegregated and they got to use the same restrooms and sit in the same sections and do all of those things when they attended shows. In the movie, they sort of made it more grand than it was in real life, but he did try and he did end up making up that show. But he was never banned from playing in Georgia, like they said in the movie, but he did help forward the movement to desegregate parts of the South. Which is really cool, especially considering that he made the song Georgia on My Mind famous. So that's cool. So I don't think I gave anything away. There isn't anything to give away in a biopic. So I had read a review that said that this was the greatest music biopic of all time. What do you say? I don't know if I agree. I think I might have liked Walk the Line better. I'm not sure. So I'm not sure if it's the best biopic. Plus, we just watched the one with Lou Diamond Phillips, La Bamba. La Bamba was good. The foreshadowing was a little bit lame, but La Bamba was pretty good. Oh, bye, Becky. I'm sorry you have to go now. I hope you're getting some sleep. Becky's calling from Germany, or in from Germany. So please, I'll see you next week. I plan on being here again next week. I will miss the 4th of July weekend, but I will be here this weekend, next week. Okay. It was good and great. One about being African. Yeah, I thought that it was really great to show that side of Black America, to show the famous musicians, to see Quincy Jones and things like that. But I would want to know from you guys if you think it was the best music biopic. It was early. It had special effects. There was a water effect in the flashback sequences. And so I guess those aren't special effects. Those are, what did they call them? Joel, I need your help. There's a name for it when they have effects, but they didn't do them through CGI. Anyway, I think one thing that they did really well in this movie was all the colorization of everything, like all muted tones during Ray's life once he was blind, and then having all the bright colors when he goes flashing back to when he was a kid and everything was bright and he could see before he went blind. All right, I'm reading some for the comments. Let's see. She agrees that Bohemian Rhapsody, Steve, Loki the Siberian, says that his favorite was Bohemian Rhapsody. I saw Bohemian Rhapsody in the theater. I did like it. It wasn't my favorite. I don't know why. I'm not sure. I mean, the music was really good and the acting was really good. I think that I felt like Queen maybe as a band had too much influence on the script for me to enjoy it, because I know that they were really particular and that a lot of people wanted to make the movie and it didn't get made until they got to have the script in a way that made the band look good. So that kind of bothered me, I think. Let's see. What do you guys also say? Uncle Yukon La Bamba was okay. Good spots and bad spots. The bad spots were worse than in other music movies. Yeah. Practical effects! Oh, Steve, thank you. I could not get the word practical effects. The practical effects in Ray were really good. They did a lot of practical effects with it, with cigarette smoke and with water. And I thought that the practical effects were really good. Practical effects are my favorite. I like them better than CGI any day. Give me more practical effects. That's what I like. Uncle Yukon said Bomba. Joel the Geek. Oh, because special effects. Yeah, but practical effects being that kind of special effect, I guess, was what I'd say. Crystal says that her favorite was Walk the Walk. Do you mean Walk the Line or a different one? I don't know Walk the Walk. I have not seen the new one about Elton John. I haven't seen that, but I heard that it has more fantasy sequences, and so it's not strictly a biopic. Let's see. Hey, KJ Chicago 1, you're here. Good to see you. I like Jamie Foxx's Ray. Also saw the movie too. Good, good. Crystal the Animal Lover. I will say Ray was good as well, as it's hard to pick favorites. Sure. Bomba. Oh, yeah, I probably said it wrong. Now, Walk the Line. Yeah, Crystal was trying to say Walk the Line. Yeah, it's really hard to choose. I'm not sure which one is my favorite. I think Walk the Line was better. I think Walk the Line was better than this movie, even though I did say that it was the best. I was ready to fight for it. I think I've changed my mind. I think I will go with Walk the Line. I don't know. There was just something about Walk the Line that was more appealing to me, or that I related to more. Maybe it was just the fact that I was a huge Johnny Cash fan. There, in the movie that Ray, there are 98 musical cues. And the director said that it was a musical because what they were singing about tied into the movie. And I think they did the same thing in Walk the Line, probably taking it from this movie, but I think that they leveled it up and did it even better. Let's see. Joel says practical effects are like making one person bigger than another with forced perspective, or using real objects to make an effect. Oh, okay. KJ Chicago, what's your favorite music movie die? That is, if you have one. Oh, I have so many favorite music movies. That's why we're breaking them up into categories now. Vicky. Oh, I don't think Rocket Man is a biopic, but a good job of capsulizing aspects of Elton John's life. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. Steve, Loki the Siberian. I still have to watch The Dirt. I'm kind of scared. I don't know what The Dirt is. And Joel says that Rocket Man is not a biopic. Okay, that's cool. Mueller Husky! Oh, I'm writing you down. I'm keeping a list of people to add to the mods. I was trying to remember everyone off my top of my head. I didn't do very well. All right, so we're talking about best biopic of all time, Camille. And so if you had a vote for what do you think is the best music biopic of all time? And I know you're a musician, so I would really like to hear your opinion on what you think. Yeah, we're not taking attendance. I just tend to call on people for answers. So I think I'm going to leave it, the Motley Crue movie thing, or whatever it is. The Motley Crue. All right. So we talked about biopics. I still want to hear Mueller's answer about what she thinks is good. We're talking about, and then KJ Chicago 1 brought up best music movie of all time. We have more music movies to review. I still have a stack like this to talk about, and we can talk about different types of music. Like we talked about Seattle music. I would love to do one where we have a friend from Michigan talk about Detroit music, or do one where we talk about Chicago or New York or LA, or I would really like to do Anaheim. I think Anaheim would be so much fun. So if you have a vote of like a geographical area of music you would like to talk about, or a great music movie that you would like to talk about, I think these are great for when we have our discussion, because when we're face to face we all talk about something that we can all relate to, and then I make my videos about bass gear strictly. And so there are kind of different ways of approaching this YouTube thing. All right. Let's see. KJ Chicago, Joaquin Phoenix did a good job playing the late Johnny Cash. Yes, he did. Uncle Yukon. Oh, Joel Teach. I haven't seen it. Joel says he hasn't seen enough to say which one's best. Blues Brothers. Oh, Steve, you're right. Let's do that one next. Let's do that one next. I'm deciding it right now. Blues Brothers. Oh my gosh. Okay, so is Blues... I have a question. And I can't check this, so I'm calling on you all to check this. Is the Blues Brothers movie available to stream on Netflix? Or can you stream it on Amazon Prime? Because you could have a watch party on Netflix. That would be really fun. I haven't gotten around to it. Blues Brothers. The Blues Brothers movie. I have seen the Blues Brothers movie on Phantom Events in the theater, where they had a Q&A after it and stuff like that, which was really cool. It's Chicago based. They're on a mission from God. Yes. Yes, I want to do the Blues Brothers movie. I don't own it. I don't think. Well, it's in storage if I do. It's on Hulu. Okay, so the Blues Brothers movie, Joel says Hulu has the Blues Brothers movie if someone needs to stream it. Yes, Mueller, Amadeus counts. I love that movie. We will eventually do Amadeus. Oh my gosh, you guys are giving me the best ideas ever. Amadeus. My mom has the long version. I don't know if I can sit through the long version. I need the theatrical cut. Okay, good. Uncle Yukon got tired of the Blues Brothers movie and hasn't watched it in a while. Oh my gosh. I mean, like, when I watch it, I think my lips move through the whole thing because I know every line. Like, I love it. And I think it'll be great because it's got a scene in a church I can relate to. Their instruments, the piano, they have the Fender Rhodes with the suitcase speakers. Yes, I love that. And the Chicago cops were chasing them. Yes. In fact, I had a layover in Chicago. I've never been to Chicago, and I had a layover in Chicago, and I was so excited because the police cars looked like the police cars in the Blues Brothers movie. Best scene. Yes, we are going to do the Blues Brothers movies. I may have to have a guest. One of my sons is the biggest fan of this movie. I might have to have a guest. I might have to figure out how to add someone to the stream. All right. So we've decided on a movie for next week. What's the date next week? Look at this. I have to look at my phone. How lame is that? I think it's the 28th. Yep. Sunday the 28th, we will live stream the Blues Brothers movie. I will get a thumbnail made, and we're going to live stream. I wish we could live stream the movie. YouTube does not allow that. They frown upon stealing. But they will let us do a review of the movie. Oh, yeah, Jersey Boys would be fun. I'll write that down, too. But we will do Blues Brothers for next week just because I am in the mood to be on a mission from God. I missed... Martin! I tried to add you as a mod, and I don't have your YouTube channel. So you're going to have to tell me how to find your YouTube channel because that's the only way I can add a mod. Okay? And Vicky left a comment that I missed too. Let me double back a little bit. What did Vicky say? Never saw it, but I heard that Jessica Lange was good in the Patsy Cline biopic, Sweet Dreams. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I don't think I've ever seen it, but I do love Patsy Cline. Her voice. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. I think we're caught up. All right. So this is the after show where we're talking about miscellaneous things that we're talking about in some movies we're going to see. And then we're going to review for video ideas and for streaming. I also, the Evels movie, Crystal, help me. I'm not sure what movie you mean. Maybe somebody else knows what movie Crystal means. The Evels movie. I'm not sure what movie that is. So I wanted to make sure that I mention, let's see, Dan's game show called Dantix, which is every Friday night at 5 o'clock right now. And so I want to make sure I mention that. And so don't forget to check him out. He's at RFS Dan. And then check out Joel the Geek at Joel the Geek. Oh, there. No, am I in the middle? Sort of. I hemmed myself in, didn't I? Okay, that's better. Oh, now it's just my chin. Where he talks about all things geek, especially unboxings and his and playing Mad Libs. The Evels. Okay, great. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned those while I was here. And anything else in the comments I need to catch? The Blues Brothers is headed down towards the Alamo Richard J. Plaza. Oh, lots of Chicago, KJ Chicago references, right? So we will talk about the Blues Brothers next week. And if you guys have anything else to add, otherwise we are at 4:40 and we can end the stream here. Do you have anything to add? Meet Matt Shep. Yes, there will be a slide after this that will include Mueller Huskies and Meet Matt Shep. Oh, it's on Stars. Vicky says that the Blues Brothers movie is also available on Stars, so you can check it out this week and have time to see it before we talk. The shopping mall is still a wreck, the last I heard. Yes, that shopping mall. I'm sure it is. All right. Oh, Elvis. The Elvis biopic. Got it, finally. Gosh, Crystal. Elvis biopic. Okay. I got it. Yeah, you are a guest on my show this time. Thank you guys so much for coming out. You know, we're going through a rough time out here, all in quarantine, trying to social distance, trying to work from home. I actually work from this very spot. My computer here that I'm streaming on is sitting on top of my work. I have my work computer and I just plug all the cords into this computer instead to talk to you. I actually have my planner from work is holding up the computer. And so there is no way that I could get through this difficult time with everything that's going on in the world and all of the sadness and things we see on the news that are so sad right now. I couldn't get through it without these live streams. You guys have been so awesome to participate in this. I know it's been a bit of an experiment and I'm still no good at pushing all of the buttons. And I'm learning things every single time. I'm trying to level it up. I got the slides and the sound this time. But I really appreciate you guys stopping by and spending a little bit of your Sunday with me and cheering me up and making me feel like I've got some friends out there going through this with us together and we're all going to hang in together. So thank you so much. Hey, Camille from Mueller Husky, do you have a specific time you're going to be live streaming? Because I would love to promote it for you. I just don't know. I think I don't know what your time is because I think Dan may have stepped on your time when he moved his schedule. So you let me know and I'll make sure that I promote you too during this live stream. Yes, Joel, baby steps. Yes, as he's built his Geek Fort and got his setup down, he knows about all the baby steps of this live streaming. It is a whole new set of challenges and rewards. Crystal Lee Ambler says, thanks for the live streaming. It was great to have a great night. Yeah, you all have a great night. Talk to you later. Yeah, Mom. Mom and I try to video chat every day, but then I forget every time. During the quarantine, I've been trying, but I'm terrible. So yes, Mom, I will remember to talk to you later this time. I love you guys. Thanks for coming in. New video this week should drop Tuesday or Wednesday. So we're going to be talking bass stuff and bass gear, and there'll be more gear to come. Thank you so much. You guys, God bless you, and have a great Sunday. Bye.